Sports. We're joined by Hugo Lloris. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hello,
it is extremely hot. You must get so excited about these pre-season sessions.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's true that it's quite hot, but you know, it's a fantastic place to train, and we will enjoy your time at Orlando.
What, going into this season, are your ambitions for Spurs? Are you seriously looking at it and think, right, we can win the title?
First of all, it's very important to stay focused on the pre-season, to prepare our mind and to prepare our body to get fit, and then for sure we will be competitive this season. It's a tough league, the Premier League, so it's very difficult to predict what will happen, but we'll be ready to compete again, and obviously every season is getting even more competitive because the other clubs they invest on great players, and but we'll be ready for that.
They talk a lot about how playing at Wembley for Tottenham requires a whole transition for the players because the pitch is a bit different. Is it different for a goalkeeper as well?
Yeah, it's exactly the same as a player. You know, you have more distance to cover, especially when we play in a high position. You need to cover the space at the back behind the defense, and but you know, it's just to get used. It's just to get used, and you know, it's true that last season we were fantastic at White Hart Lane. We stay unbeaten all the season, and you know, we will try to keep going in the same way at Wembley.
Let me ask you this, Hugo. I mean, you say you want to remain competitive during the course of this season. Finished twice, last 2 seasons, and so far in the off-season, there's not been a whole lot of movement. Certainly not coming in. The only notable player going out, Kyle Walker. Are you still in a position to not just challenge, but can you win this league?
Oh, this is our ambition, you know, even if the team is very young, we have a lot of talented players, very ambitious, and we have a proper philosophy under Mauricio Pochettino. He's got a football concept, and we work in this way. I think we enjoy our football. Last season we had some great performances, and we need to keep going in the same way. Don't think too much, just be competitive, be ready in our mind to make the effort. And we know that in England it's very competitive, and the most important thing is, you know, is to give your best until the end of the season.
Let me ask this, talking about your own ambition, because for my money, and I'm not just seeing this, one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the world, but yet still...
You didn't say that yesterday, Shaka.
but yet you're at Spurs, knocking on the door a couple of times. Has there ever any... I'm impressed by your loyalty to Spurs. Has there ever been any temptation for you to seek silverware elsewhere?
You know, when I signed for Spurs, it was time for me to go overseas, to discover a new league, and to question myself. And it was important to make the step. And you know, from the beginning of my story with Spurs, I believe in the project. And even more under Mauricio Pochettino, because he's one of the best managers in the world. I understand completely his football, and we have the same philosophy. We share the same value in football, and that's the most important thing for me. And then it's true that we have a young generation, a lot of English players, and they have the potential to get up there. And I try to lead them as a captain and as a friend too, as a teammate. And then, you know, the club is very competitive too. We show that every season in a Premier League. It's true that we need to improve in European competition compared to the other club in Europe. But listen, step by step, we are building something strong at Spurs, and it's a very exciting time to be a Spurs player.
You kind of go against the grain a little bit as a goalkeeper, because let's face it, most of them are nuts, like present company obviously included. You look at something in the past, but you seem quite softly spoken. You know, when you're letting it go, I don't see you shouting at defenders, which is always kind of the given, isn't it? You say you take responsibility as captain, looking to lead this younger generation. I can't imagine you're the sort of shouter at half-time. So how do you use your leadership in particular going forward?
I can do it, you know. It's just about it's about personality, you know. You have a personality outside the pitch and on the pitch, and in the changing room too. The most important thing is to be respected by your teammates, and that's the case at Tottenham. I try to lead by example too. Always to be the first to demand a progression, and you know, it's very easy to lead a changing room like at Tottenham, because it's a very clean changing room. Everyone wants to improve. Everyone wants to play at the high level, and everyone is ambitious. So we have the same ambition. That's the most important thing in the team.
But then people might flip that and say that there isn't enough grit in the Tottenham dressing room to make that extra step forward to become title winners.
I don't think it's about that. It will come step by step. It's true that in football or in every sport, it's important to get rewarded by your effort, because you wake up every morning for that, to get rewarded by trophies. But as I said, Tottenham is an ambitious club. We need to be humble too. We don't have the same level as some other club, like Manchester United, like Manchester City, like Chelsea. They get used to win the league. But I believe that as soon as we will get the first trophy, it will happen behind. Yeah.
And you believe you can do that at Wembley?
Hopefully, we don't know. But we don't know what will happen. The most important thing is to fit well at Wembley, to have the right feeling. Try to create a real atmosphere in Wembley, and we know that in one season we will get our new stadium, and it will be fantastic time.
So Shaka obviously mentioned you in the top, one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the world, and it is true. I think if we were to ask most football fans, you would be on that list. How do you go about improving yourself? Because your shot-stopping ability is second to none. Is it just a day-to-day ambition to get better and better?
Yeah, exactly. It's I'm thinking day by day. I'm lucky because around me I have the right people. The first one is the Gaffer, Mauricio Pochettino, and then my goalkeeping coach Tony Jimenez, and then the goalkeepers who are working with me, like Michel Rome. They push me every day, and it's quite easy to come and try to enjoy. Even in the facility that we get at Tottenham is fantastic. So I really enjoy my time in Tottenham. It's important to question yourself as a sportsman, and then every game for me is important, and I always play for winning.
So we were nice to you, obviously, saying nice things, but we've got to bring up what happened against Sweden.
If you want.
How do you get over that? Do you go into the dressing room afterwards and apologise? Is it?
It's part of the job, Goalkeeper, you have a lot of responsibility, and you know that a mistake can provide a goal for the opponent, and that was the case in Sweden. Obviously, it's always hard, the feeling after a game like this one at the last minute of the game, because my mistake put the team a bit under pressure because we lost 1 point. But the qualifying group stage is still long, and and even with a good result in Sweden, it was not enough. You need to push until the end of this qualifying group stage, and we will get there because we have the potential, because the French national team is strong, and because our ambition is to go to Russia.
How do you get over that mentally? How do you not go into your next game thinking, oh, I can't do what I just did against Sweden because I just hold that stick for last week?
It's our job, It's part of the job, like I say. It can happen to any keepers in the world, even the best. And
it's happened to me a few times.
Yeah, that's a surprise, Shaq. You never apologise.
The most important thing is to go to the other game and get the right feeling as soon as possible.
I mean, you talk about this France national team. How good is it? Can this team win the World Cup, stumble at the final hurdle in the Euros? I find so many similarities between France in terms of how good they are, or how good they are potentially, and Spurs. Is that how you see it with this team, and is your role pretty similar in those two dressing rooms?
Yeah, in both cases, in both teams, there is a lot of talented players with a great potential. But very young, and it needs time, to get the maturity. But we have the talent is the most important thing, and then is about the mental. It's to push your mental and try to be as competitive as possible. But obviously, football, it's about details, and everything can happen.
Hello. How are you?
How are you, sir?
Where's the security?
For my keeper.
Mauricio Pochettino.